is day 10, releasing control and trusting the process. So we're going to jump straight into it. Control is a trauma response. How is control a trauma response? But before I get into that, I want to explain what control is. I like to break down the definition of things, the right definition, not the definition that we gave it from our experiences. Control means the power to influence or direct people's behavior or the course of events. So control is a trauma response. How is control a trauma response? It is because it is deeply ingrained, often a subconscious effort to regain safety. It is a trauma response because it is deeply ingrained, often subconscious effort to regain safety. What does all that mean? It's a way to prevent future harm, and it can create an illusion of safety. So that's how control is a trauma response. We use control to keep us from being hurt from situations that we've been through. If it seems familiar, we go ahead and try to control the situation. In today's lesson, I want to teach you how to let go of control and live your true authentic self, right? And living your true authentic self, you're not living that self of it's black and white or it's safe or unsafe. I want to teach you how to be able to be present. So how controlling behaviors manifest from trauma. I'm going to give you 3 different ways of how it can manifest from trauma. One is seeking predictability, right? Seeking predictability is the trauma that shatters a sense of safety. So you will create structures like routines and, rules, anything to make you feel safe. That's what you'll create when you seeking that, right? And then preventing future harm. You do that why it's kind of like if I control everything, it won't happen again. That whole mentality. If I control everything, it won't happen again. So how do you prevent future harm? This causes you to become obsessive. And that's obsessive management of situations, people, or environment. That's what happens because now you want to prevent it. So if I can prevent this from ever happening, I'm going to control the scenario. I'm going to control the people. I'm going to control how people show up in my life. I'm going to control how everything works out in my life so I can make sure I stay safe. And then reclaiming the power is another way how it manifests from trauma. It's a deep-seated need to counter the past feelings or feeling powerless. So that's why a lot of people, this is different ways of why people have this control issue because they want to control this. They want to control the outcome of everything because it's from trauma. A lot of it came from a trauma place, from a place of trauma, their past or whatever it was that hurt them. So now they want to control that. And a lot of people go and try and seek the way of reclaiming power because in that trauma, they felt powerless. So that is how control is a trauma response. Now, the fear of uncertainty creates anxiety. Let's talk about that. Example, the brain predicts error, right? Which is the future, which is the outcome. It predicts the error. So with the brain predicts error, that is a threat that is perceived, which is survival mode. And then overthinking, which is gaining control. And then you have behavioral responses, which you'll start to avoid. And psychological activation is the physical symptoms that you'll feel it within your body. You feel it within, you feel the stress. You'll feel different things that you know that your brain is predicting that something is happening. So now we're going to get in trust is a muscle, not a mindset. So what is a mindset? We all come up with our own idea of what a mindset is, right? So what a mindset is your set of attributes, your boundaries, your beliefs, your opinions, and everything. That's how you interpret the world. That's what a mindset is. So that's why everyone do not have the same mindset because we don't think alike. I see the world different from when you see the world. So different ways that you can look at and identify and be comfortable with understanding that trust is like a muscle and not a mindset. Because look at training. In order to gain muscle, in order to gain strength, you have to exercise. You have to put in the work. You have to train. You have to do these things. In the same way with trust, it's repeated actions, right? You're going through learning to trust someone, going through different things in life, and then you're learning to trust the process. However, the same way like a muscle, it can become weakened if it stops training, if you stop feeding it, if you stop. In the same way with trust. Once someone breaks that trust with you, once someone hurts you, heartbreak, this, that, and the third, it weakens. But what I don't want you to look at it as a mindset. I want you to look at it as a muscle. In order to learn how to trust again and be comfortable in that, you have to experience again. You have to open up to experience again. Not treat it as a mindset, because a mindset is who you become, basically, of this is how you view the world, and it becomes set in stone. So learn that trust can be regained, but you have to put in the work, not the people putting in the work. You have to put in the work. How do you put in the work to regain trust, to make you feel comfortable with trusting yourself? Well, journaling, right? Going through the process, the holistic approach, like I tell you guys. You can journal, you can meditate, you can talk about it, you can do therapy, you can try again, and you can talk to it, you can reprogram it. Because why you don't trust the situation, why you don't trust that person? Because they broke my heart. Okay, they broke your heart. What did they do to break your heart? You have to start speaking truth to it. Truth to it. That person came into your life and cheated on you, or whatever the case is, or that friend that you invited into your life, they mistreated you and did you wrong. Then you created as a mindset, and you're like, I don't want no new friends, because all the friends, anybody I got to know, and everybody, what they're going to do is they're going to mistreat me, they're going to cheat on me, blah, 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 blah. Right? But if you treat it like a muscle, what you'll do now is go into every relationship and situationship or whatever with boundaries. You'll say, okay, last time, yeah, this did happen. And you overgave, you overspoke, you gave too much. Now have boundaries. Okay, we could go hang out. There's nothing wrong with having a social life. I just tell you, if you want to have a social life, what you need to learn how to do is categorize people. So that is trust is a muscle and not a mindset. Now, letting go versus giving up. A lot of people think letting go means weakness, like you won. If I let go, you won. A lot of the trauma that we go through in life, and a lot of the situations that we go through in life, we know it's not good for us, but we don't want to lose. So if I let it go, it looked like, and then I see somebody else come in and get it. Now it's a control thing. That's a control thing. But letting go and giving up, letting go is not the weaknesses. Giving up is the weakness. Right? People just give up on something and just like, oh, I'm just done. What does that say about you when you just give up? So let's look at both of them. Letting go versus giving up. Letting go is a conscious, empowered choice. It's releasing. Giving up, it is to abandon something. That is self-defeat. That's abandoning something. Letting go is always a healed approach. That is a healthy approach. If it's hurting you too much, let it go. If it's causing you too much stress, and let it go. When you're trying to control things, it's so easy. Let it go. Let it go. Listen, you going through whatever it is, your job, this, that, and the third, your car, let it go. You going through relationships and they just won't do right. Let it go. Friendships, they keep going back and forth telling all your business, but you don't want to let it go because here's the control thing, because they know too much of your business, so you want to keep your enemies close. Girl, let that thing go. Let it go. Because all this, you have to pay the price for that later. I told you, when you pay the price for control and being unhealed and in unhealthy relationships, you pay it from a place of energy. Not tangible, energy. Energy is more valuable than tangible, the money. Energy is currency. That's the currency that helps sustains you. It's not the tangible money that sustains you in this world, but sustains you in the spirit. You have to keep your energy good and clean. So how can I keep my energy clean and I can keep my energy up? How can I continue to stay rich? Well, letting go of the things that you don't desire. That's how you look at life. Don't control things. You either desire it or it's undesirable. It's either desirable or it's undesirable. Desirable or undesirable. See, there's no in between. There's no middle. There's no okay, well, there's no yes, no, maybe. See, I got away from the yes, no, maybe. I got away from the positive and the negative. I got away from all that because the example that I'll use this one. So I love chocolate ice cream. I desire that thing. If you ask me what I want, bring me some chocolate ice cream, baby. Now, strawberry, I don't care for. It's not, oh, well, I'm sitting around. I ain't got nothing else to eat. I'm going to get the strawberry ice cream. Oh, I ain't got nothing else to eat. I'm going to eat the strawberry. No, it's going to sit in my freezer. And every time I go in my freezer, I'm going to move it over. When I get that pack of chicken or whatever it is I'm going to get, I'm going to move it over to the side because I don't desire it. I'll never touch things that I desire. I let go of things that I don't desire. I don't care if they got freezer burns that can go in the garbage. I don't care. You can have it. I won't, no other questions. I won't say, hey, I don't know. My kids might know. Here, have it. Letting it go. I'm not trying to control anything. So you change the way you think. Desirable, undesirable. If you desire it, then keep it. But create boundaries with it. But if it's hurting you more than helping you, get rid of it. What is it there for? Why? So that's what I need you to understand about letting go versus giving up. Giving up is self-defeat. Letting go is a empowered choice, right? It's just called releasing, and that's that. So trust is not just a belief. This is I didn't tell y'all about number 3, did I? I skipped over it. Well, we talked about, I'll be making my notes. Listen, trust is a muscle, not a mindset. And we talked about that, how it attributes. But I'll explain even a little bit further is trust is not just a belief you decide to have. It's a skill that's built through repeated actions and experiences. So as I told you, like the muscle, you train for it to get stronger. And then it also can be weakened by things like, example, broken promises can weaken your your trust. Rebuild it. But this letting it go and giving it up, which one you gonna do? Which one you gonna do? I'm gonna need y'all to start letting it go because holding on to it is control. I'm teaching you how to release that. All this week we're talking about release and emotional freedom. And in this in this lesson, we're talking about releasing control and trusting the process. So it's so important. So our next exercise that we're going to do, the worst case, best case, most likely. Okay? The best case, worst case, most likely. I want you guys to get your notebooks. I want you to identify a situation you fear. I want you to write the one is first possible outcome. 2, best possible outcome. 3, most realistic outcome. Now, this one is usually balanced and neutral. So the 3 things that you're going to do, you're going to identify a situation you fear. Worst possible outcome, best possible outcome, most realistic outcome. Okay? And then once you get that, I want you to look at the most realistic outcome. The most realistic outcome mean that this is 10 times out of 10, this is going to happen. Best possible outcome. Well, if this person show up, then we'll have but if they don't show up, this is the best possible. But the worst is nobody show up. Nobody show up. And that fear, we're trying to get to the root of the problem. That's the whole purpose of this training, is to get you to the root of the problem of that fear. Because a lot of us come up with the worst case scenario. We talked about that yesterday. We come up with the worst case scenario because that's what our mind is trained for. Because it's wrapped in fear, right? So now we're going to control that. We're not going to let it control us. We're going to control it. So an exercise that I want you guys to do is I want you to sit with your back straight up, feet flat on the ground. And I want you to just feel the ground. Just feel. I want you to feel right now, because what you're doing is learning how to just trust your senses, right? A lot of y'all, if y'all like to go outside and just feel the earth, put your feet in the grass, and go ahead, put your feet in the grass. However, I just want you to sit straight up. Hold on, let me fix my chair. Sit straight up. Because I teach you posture is everything. And the reason why I've been teaching you about posture this last 2 weeks is because this shows confidence. You don't have to worry about when you go into the interview and are you going to get the interview. You don't have to worry about is you going to get the job. Because this, before you even open your mouth, shows confidence. Self-awareness. Do you understand? This says a lot about you. But then I want you to put your feet on the ground because I want you to feel what's beneath you. Just like every day, you put your foot on the ground, you trust that there's a floor, right? You trust that there's no way you can fall, there's no way you can do any of that, there's no way anything. You trust that it's there. So I need you to learn how to start trusting the things that you run from. Start trusting it. Start trusting yourself. That's the problem. A lot of y'all just don't trust yourself. We talked about intuition yesterday. Trusting our own intuition. We don't know. We feel like, okay, well, that's not right. And then we make bad decisions because we didn't listen to ourselves in the first place. Now we have trust issues because we made bad decisions. But if you would have trusted your instinct, you know what I mean? Learning to listen to yourself. That's what I'm teaching you guys. That's all. So your self-love practice, I want you to say, I trust myself. I trust my future. I trust myself and I trust my future. Because in order to get to your future, I told you have to be present. In this present moment, you have to create it. But you have to trust yourself enough to know that, hey, this is going to happen for me. You know what? I need you to be just as delusional as anybody. When they had their first time they wanted to open a business, baby, they was delusional. They got away from control, meaning the world telling them that they got to do it this way. They can't do it that way. They got to do it this way. It got to be done this way, blah, 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 blah. They trusted themselves. They said, people told them that they could, but they trusted themselves. Do you understand? And they created in this moment, and then they went forward. And guess what happened when they went forward? It was nothing but success. Your daily declaration is, I surrender what I cannot control. I surrender what I cannot control. If I can't control it, I have to put it in the undesirable. I can't do anything about it. You can't do anything about it. You did everything you were supposed to do. You looked for jobs. You had a job. You paid your bills. You did everything that you were supposed to do. And then the world said, well, not the world. The United States said, hey, we're going to elect this president and we're going to cut all the jobs. We're going to disrupt everything. And now you're sitting around here, you're stressed out. Here's Christmas. Now the enemy is playing on your top, right? No, you can't control any of that. All you can do is what you're supposed to do. And you've got to be able to trust God for a thing. That's it and that's all. I don't stress over nothing. I put it in undesirable. I choose not to stress over that. It's undesirable. Now let me stay focused. Right? Okay. The next thing, y'all got your notebooks because here's your homework. Identify 3 things you are forcing that need surrender. Identify 3 things you are forcing that need surrender. Your second part to that is write a release statement for each one of them. So when you identify the 3 things you are forcing that need surrender, I want you to write a release statement to each one, releasing each one. Okay? Now you're going to journal, what am I afraid will happen if I stop controlling everything? What am I afraid that's going to happen? That's why you're controlling it, because you're afraid of something. That's why control shows up. Control shows up because you're trying to, whatever fear there is, you're trying to prevent something. So that's why control shows up. But what are you trying to prevent? Ask yourself that. Hey, nice, Nicole. Thank you. And then how would my life feel with more ease? I surrender that thing or whatever I'm trying to control, whatever it is that I needed to surrender. Now that I released it, right? How would my life feel with more ease? Now, this is where you're going to meditate because I want you to visualize it. What you think becomes your reality. Visualize that thing. Visualize yourself without that thing, that pressure of that thing. Visualize yourself. If it's you don't have a job, okay, visualize yourself, being employed. What would that feel like? You're eased now that now you got a job. Visualize it, because that stress, that control, it attacks your nervous system. Your nervous system then causes you to have stress, high blood pressure, aches, pains, all type of things. We're trying to eliminate that. That's why I'm here to teach you how to heal. Now, your tabletop talk that you're going to take to the table, because I told you, as you're healing, you're going to heal the environment. Yes, I am the coach that's going to save the world, but I don't have to save it by each and every individual. It's just that when I teach you, then you teach the next. Do you understand? So now, instead of having just nonsense talk at the table, try and break it up a little bit. I give you tabletop talk discussions that you can have with your friends in a group chat, whatever you want to do, you can have it. So here's one that you can bring to the table. Control is safety. Trust is freedom. What does that mean to you? Control is safety. Trust is freedom. The next one you can bring is, you don't need the whole staircase, just the next step. Use critical thinking. Apply it to something that's going on right now. You're trying to open a business right now. You don't need the whole staircase. You just need the next step. Meaning you're trying to open this business right now, and all of a sudden you're thinking about, I need a building, I need this, I got to get a loan, I got to get this, I got to get this, I got to have this, I got to have blah, blah, blah. Okay, yes, you got to have all that. But right now, what is the next step? You creating as you go. One of the things that I wish that I would have done, I mean, it worked out for me now, because now I'm actually living in my my business. I'm actually set up now, but going through, God was giving me ideas, and he was showing me what it was that I needed to do and how I needed to do it. God was showing me those things, right? Like, okay, I got to do this. And I jumped and started opening the business, doing everything I was supposed to do in the business. And just to finally get to the point that now I gave the business a name, and that's not the route I'm going at all. Because it was so many layers to it. God was giving me the layers. So I wish I would have done the work behind the scenes. Let me explain to you what I mean behind the scenes. Like all these programs I created, I wish I would have done that before I opened the business. You know how you hear some people, and this is where y'all compare y'all business to, and y'all say, oh man, they business just took off. That's because they just introduced it to you, but they were already doing the legwork behind the scene for the last 2 years. They have been working on this thing for the last 2 years. So now that they came out and put their business out, and now they're advertising, guess what? They have product to sell. They have information to give. I had to slowly build it up. I put the business first, then I came with the product later. I put the idea out there, but then I came out with the solution later. And that's where I wish I would have learned and done better. So now that's how I operate in life. God, give me what I need, the creativity or whatever it is that I need to do, and I create that. Then I introduce it versus me just telling you guys about it, right? Because my business went to a whole nother level. It evolved to something totally different, but it was meant to be that way. So that's why all the headaches that I had of, man, it's not doing anything. I did this, I did that, and it's not doing anything. Well, that's why I wasn't doing anything, because I jumped ahead of myself. So that's just a note for you guys. This is the end of this.